says, you know, and honestly, it defined when it finally came out that way. It kind of defined my whole sound, like everything.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, before my voice started to actually come out, and I was actually not projecting, and I was singing like a mouse. Like when it finally came out, it kind of like just defined my whole entire sound. So.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
So it just is what it is, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with its playing.
I think you should be.
I listened to my parents listened to country music growing up. So
do you think that had a huge influence on it?
You know, we did live in Tennessee. I grew up listening to, you know, the 80s and 90s, especially 80s, like country music,
right.
Garth Brooks, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Like Reba McEntire, stuff like that. So I might have just kind of maybe inadvertently soaked that in. I don't know, but I'm okay with it.
Well,
you got to be okay with it.
Well,
everybody else
that makes
seems
sense
to be
to
okay
me. Well, I mean, you know, you could decide that you don't like that, but that would be like saying I don't like the way my voice sounds. You know? I
mean, everybody's got a style. I feel like when I hear people sing, and then I hear them talk, and they don't talk or speak in conversations, they would sing.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of artists where you hear them sing, and you're like, what just happened? Like, you just...
Yeah,
and it's awesome. All this awesomeness comes out. But no, I'm okay.
But no. Okay, so those are all sound like fine questions. I mean, I tend to just follow your lead.
I'm pretty open and laid back. I'm not. I'll answer just about anything unless it starts getting into like personal stuff or something.
That's not how our show normally works.
Yeah.
That may be other people's show, but that's not our show.
I'll do that. But yeah, if you want to talk about music or anything really, that's just.
Well, I know you're a big supporter of several local bands, local music, so we'll talk about that as well.
I love talking about that. It's my favorite thing to talk about.
Well, then that'll work out really well.
I kind of want to talk a little bit about like that, balancing that, because as a performer,
oh, sure.
Like I'm like always, I like to perform, but man, I really love going to shows. I mean,
well, and you go to a lot of shows.
I really do, because it's, well, all those people are going to my shows. That's what we're supposed to do, right?
So we'll go live on air in about 30 seconds,
awesome.
If that sounds okay. And new. Be nice if maybe it had your name on it. Accept, play, record. Pike 27 here on your Tuesday afternoon alternative. As we get ready to enter the second hour, we're joined in the studio by Mandy Jewell. Hey, Mandy.
Hello.
I'm going to ask you to get a little closer.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting way too relaxed here.
You are. You're in a recliner. What people can't see is like all of the cushy, soft chairs behind you, around us.
Caviar. Not really. I'm just kidding.
But I appreciate you saying that.
Thanks.
So tell us about your music, Mandy.
All right. Well, let's talk about Mandy Jewell music. Okay. Well, I'm a singer-songwriter here in Dayton. I have been performing and writing songs since I was, well, in my early 20s. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you how old I am.
And we won't ask.
But that's a long time. I actually started off playing bass in a band in my early 20s, and that's how I kind of got my foot in the door musically. Started, once that kind of went away, I started picking up the guitar, learning a little bit. I had been writing poetry for a long time, just started putting my poetry to songs, and that's kind of how it came about until, gosh, all the way through the 2000s. I think I did open mics and things like that, and then until 2013 when I got a really good chance to finally make my album. So, The Road to Tennessee came out in 2013. It's an EP, 6-song EP. It was recorded by Real Love Recordings. Is Patrick Himes in Tennessee. It was before he was in.
It's before he moved back to Dayton.
Yeah,
right?
I knew Patrick from before, but he was in Nashville at the time. I did a Kickstarter campaign to earn enough money to go down to Nashville and record it, and that's what I did. So he had his band at the time, Absinthe Junk, play on the album.
Right.
So that's why I got the full band kind of sound on there, because I was a solo artist, still am, and So yeah, so if it wasn't for Patrick and those guys, I don't think that, and the people who supported me with the Kickstarter thing, I don't think I would have ever gotten to make it. So.
Just want to let everybody know that you're listening to WUDR Dayton, Ohio, student-run radio from the University of Dayton. Here in our fair county, we're noticing quite a bit of rain. Some flash flood warnings have just come through. So if you are near any large body of water, a river, a creek, please be aware that we're getting a lot of reports of flash flooding in the area today. So, Mandy, I'm curious, why did you title it The Road to Tennessee?
Well, there is a song on the album called The Road to Tennessee, but the journey to get to Nashville, I think, is what inspired me to call it that. I feel like it was a really long journey, and I feel like the song kind of represents that, but at the same time, it kind of fit the album because it had taken me so long to get somebody to believe in me enough to put their effort and their time to help me make this record, and that road was a long one, and I guess I wanted to represent that in the title. That makes a little sense.
Yeah. Were you always interested in music? Did you listen to music growing up?
Oh, heck yeah, all the time. My parents listened to a lot of country. I grew up with that, but once I started to develop my own style, well, my older sister was really heavy in like alternative music, and that's I kind of would listen at the door, and REM, Smashing Pumpkins, bands like that. In the early 90s, I started to listen, especially REM. I find still today I'll put on an REM record and it kind of takes me back to that time. So then I started listening to some cool music, and it just, I listen to music every day of my life. I don't know how I go on without it, really. It's just something that it's part of my life every day.
I know exactly what you mean.
I literally tried to think of a day where I didn't, and I really don't think I can think of a day where I didn't put some kind of music on at some point during the day. So I think that says something about music and what it's able to do and how it can connect with people, and that's why I'm glad that I can connect with other people with mine, and other people can connect to me. So.
Oh, brilliant. What's your approach to songwriting?
Well, I am more of a lyricist than I am a guitarist. Like I said, started off, my passion instrument is the bass guitar. I love playing bass. I'm actually something I really like to do in my free time. But I think I was a lyricist first. I wanted to be able to get my words out there, so I kind of had to learn a little bit of guitar to get my songs out there. I would consider myself, I write all my lyrics first, and then I sit down, and then I try to come up with something cool on the guitar. Sometimes, maybe I'll talk to a friend or something, and we'll work on something together. My guitar skills are just average at best, but I feel like my songwriting and being a lyricist, that comes number one for me. It's the message that I'm putting out there, so yeah.
So it starts as poetry, and then it evolves?
Well, kind of. I think earlier on I took a lot of my old poetry books and just kind of was going through and seeing what I could make into songs. Now, I really do have a song in mind when I come up with lyrics. It's not just a poem anymore. It's more of, an idea, and it comes out that way. But my words always comes first. And I always have I can hear it in my head. It's just getting it to that guitar and getting it to that next point, and that's what takes longer for me. Because I can write lyrics. I tell people, I joke, I can write lyrics all the time. You want me to write something, I'll write it right now. Like, I'm not saying that in a conceited way.
Sure.
My mind works like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. So it's easier to put the lyrics out there, or the poetry out there?
For me, it's easy. Now, I can't say that that's what I'm sure that's not what everyone else does. I mean, if you're more proficient on the guitar, you probably come up with some kind of lick on the guitar. I hear bands say this all the time. Come up with something cool, and then they come up with a lyric, and then they work together as a band. But it's just me right now, so I don't have that band dynamic where you can kind of bounce ideas off people. And I think that would really help me a lot. But right now, it's just me and my lyrics.
and there's no shame in that. When you made the EP, was there a full band?
I didn't have a full band. Patrick Himes, his band, Absent the Junk, that he was in Nashville, I needed a band. I wanted it to be a full band recording, and he had those guys play all the instrumentation on the album. So I played my parts, but they put everything else together. They came up with all of it.
Right.
I mean, that's why I love those guys so much. And, you know, I'll never, ever be able to repay them for that, because it gave my songs that really full sound that I wanted. So yeah, that band came in, and really put everything they had. I mean, not just coming in and just seriously just coming in and like really wanting to make it a good record, and they did, and I can't thank them enough for that, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, what a wonderful contribution to make.
Right, exactly. I mean, and they believed in my songs enough, and they felt proud to be a part of it. It wasn't like, oh, we'll just do it, you know. But it was like, seriously, we really like this girl's stuff. Let's give her everything we got, and that's what they did. Well, Patrick does that with everything. I don't think that's a big surprise. Patrick's an amazing person, so.
I think we call him the Wizard.
He is the Wizard, yeah. His Facebook, his profile picture makes him look like a wizard, actually, kind of like
I can see
like he's
that.
in the Wizard of Oz or something, like with a light shining on him, like it just suits him. He's wonderful.
And it would explain a lot.
It does. Yeah.
You're listening to your Tuesday Afternoon Alternative. Hi, I'm Dr. J. I'm your host. We come to you every 3 to 6 p.m. on WUDR, Dayton, Ohio. I'm joined by the terrific musician Mandy Jewell, who's here talking about her fine music. So when is new music coming out? A good friend of both of ours already asked that question. When do you have new music on the horizon?
Well, yeah, I do want to talk about that. Right now, as a time factor, I have the material and I'm ready to go. I need to talk to Patrick, because Patrick's my guy. I just feel like that we
So
connect.
you'll go to Real Love now that it's here in Dayton.
Oh, absolutely. That will save me a whole lot of time and money.
Yeah, sure.
And I probably won't, yeah, and I had to travel and put that into, you know, play. Now he's like literally 3 minutes from my house, so it's not like a big deal. So that, my idea for the record, since I'm trying to get a band together at this point and it's kind of going slowly, I know enough people, I have made enough connections and friends in Dayton.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to bring some musicians in and just do one big, awesome album with all my favorite musicians in town, if they'll do it, of course. But
right.
just kind of putting that out there, because whoa, emergency.
That is our main emergency line. So apparently there is serious flash flooding in our county.
Oh.
So please be careful. We know that there are heavy rains throughout the evening that are going to continue, and that is what the emergency signal you hear behind me refers to. So we're just going to go ahead and let the broadcast take a break here as the emergency signal takes over.
The National Weather Service in Wilmington has issued a tornado warning for southeastern Pueblo County, southern Montgomery County, until 4:30 p.m. At 4:01 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Gladys, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. Hazard: tornado and hail up to 2 inches in diameter. Source: radar indicated rotation. Impact: flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Dayton, Kettering, Chipper Heights, Trotwood, Miamisburg, Moline, Oakwood, West Carrollton, Gladys, Riverside, Germantown, Lebanon, Farmersville, Centerville, Drexel, Woodburn Hyde Park, and Overlook Page Monroe. This includes Interstate 75 in Ohio between mile markers 43 and 58. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. To report severe weather, go to our website at weather.gov/ILN and submit your report via social media, where you can do so safely.
And that is the main emergency notification for our area. Please note that dangerous weather is headed towards the Dayton area. Please take shelter now. we're going to jump to one of Mandy's songs here. So, Mandy, in the Seamaster, what can you tell us about it?
What did you ask me? I'm sorry. I was listening to your weather
Oh,
thing and I got and I got sidetracked.
Well, but that's good that people are listening.
I was listening to you.
In the Seamaster, what can you tell us about that?
The what?
In the Seamaster?
In the Sea?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
It's actually called In the Sea. That's my fault.
No,
I
my bad.
I meant to change the names to those. I believe those were the
In the
mastered
Sea.
version. Yeah, so In the Sea. In the Sea is the first track off of my Road to Tennessee EP. I had just gotten a divorce, and it's kind of about coming to terms with that and moving forward.
Sorry.
No,
if there is bad weather, it's gonna buzz, especially if it's headed towards
Sure.
Dayton.
Oh my gosh.
So we'll. Oh, don't worry. I can edit the recording and stuff.
Sure,
like that.
yeah. All the MP3s he sent me have master at the end, and
Okay.
I wanted to go
I am
through.
so sorry.
That's my
I read
fault.
the whole thing. I read the whole thing out loud. I should have
That's
seen
my
that
fault. I
one
was like, see,
No, it's
master.
not. No, it's not.
That's why I was like, what an silly do I look right now?
Well,
Oh
first of
my
all,
gosh.
not at all.
Awesome.
So what I think we should probably do is let a few songs go.
Sure.
What I'll do is I'll stop this recording, start another one, so that you don't have a bunch of stuff that's not you.
Sure.
And then see if indeed if it is headed towards Dayton, it may constantly interrupt us for a while. And if at some point
Yeah, it popped up
we
on my
hear a siren, then we have to. Really, the sad thing is that there is no building in Art Street without windows.
Right.
So we'll just go into the outer foyer.
And it's not really supposed to rain or anything, is it? I thought it was just like a...
Well, the flash flooding, but they've now found the rotation, which means that there's a tornado in the sky, but it hasn't touched ground.
Oh, no.
So Gratis would be about 30-40 minutes from here, give or take, depending on how you go.
That's scary.
Yeah, well, I drive through Gratis all the time, so I'm like, well, poo. if that goes in an almost straight easterly direction, that'll come awfully close to my house. But usually they don't stay down that long.
No.
So now I'm immediately thinking about, oh, I hope my kitties are okay.
Right. I was thinking about my kitties. Love those kitties.
Oh, wait, I'm doing this wrong. But that may also affect why we're not getting phone calls.
Right.
Let's see, which one is this? Ah, this one. You ever have that thing where you have so many darn accounts?
Oh, yeah.
And there we go. Okay. And no notification there. That's a good thing. So the only thing we can't play is the title track.
Can't play the title track. I don't know. What do I say? In rear view, I say the word horror.
That's technically okay. I wouldn't play it
I
up.
didn't know. I don't think that. Yeah, that I always just throw that in there because I don't know what the rules are about that. But the title track cannot be played. Absolutely not.
Stop that, because that's not you.
That's a definite potty word in that song.
Oh, like the F word, or
It does have the F word in it.
okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I definitely
don't
cannot
usually,
play that.
I usually don't do that, and that was just. It goes with the song so well. I mean, it's a slower song, but it's like I put that out there right away. I meant to tell you that right away. I can't. No F words.
So let's see. Yep. So it is
Is it coming?
I-75 between 43 and 58, which is what they just read. Oh, hail. Oh, lovely. So, Mark is going to walk anyway. He's our engineer. I always like to give him a shout out when he's hard at work on something.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Of course there's an emergency
You're-
when Mandy comes around. What's that about? Emergency, emergency.
So we'll make it work. Because it's unfair to you, but you can never predict what the weather's going to do.
No, I knew it was going to be nasty today, but I didn't know what was going to happen.
Now your kiddos are okay. You don't have to.
Kiddos are safe. Yeah, I'm there with my sisters, so it's all good.
Okay. And they're here in Dayton, I take it?
Yeah, my sisters all live here in the area. They live in Kettering, and I live in Dayton, so it's like...
And then they have access to a basement and things like that?
Oh, yeah, my house has a basement. They're at my house right now. So, yeah, they'll be safe. And they've got children of their own, so they know they're going to be protecting all the kids.
So forgive me as I check in with Mrs. Dr. J.
Ah, yes. That's very important. I had everything packed up and ready to go because I had a show Saturday, last minute show. There was so much going on Saturday night, and I couldn't be there for any of it except for my thing, which was still awesome.
Well, she's texting me back, so I see that as a good sign.
So it's good. Everything's good.
Now it's like, don't go near my house because there's no one there to shove the kitties downstairs.
Right.
Still at work, headed to the gym now. Store capable. Okay, starting with that here too. Capable of producing a tornado was seen in Gratis. So, as a bass player, you must love that line.
Yes. I always listen to the bass line of the song. I find myself doing that constantly. Oh, that's so awesome.
So, do you listen to songs just for the bass line?
There are songs that I really love. Yeah, I mean, I think that goes with any instrument, really. I think if you hear something like, drum intro that's really cool, it's like, I just love all instruments in general. That's my favorite.
Okay, so we think we're okay. It hasn't given us another announcement, so I'm feeling good about that.
Yeah, it seems like it would probably pop back up
if it was like seek shelter immediately. But let's see, I forget which. No, we're the blue dot. Okay. So that's us.
Oh, okay. So it might just sidestep us.
Yeah.
Just barely miss us, maybe. Hopefully.
I've done my part as a husband. I've checked in with my wife.
That's.
Let's see, and there's my home. I live on the edge of Middletown. I think it looks like okay. Kitties are probably hiding under the bed, but life is good.
I think they'll be safe. I think about my cats all the time too.
I know, I'm crazy that way. People are like, and I'm like, no. They're as real to me as my human kiddos.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have 6 cats.
Should I be showing you all my kitty pictures?
Every time you post one,
oh, do you see it? Oh, you see them.
I always look at people's animal pictures, especially cats, because I'm a cat person. But
oh, okay, good. We are crazy cat people. We had as many as 7.
I have 6 right now, and I have like 3 outside that I take care of on a regular basis. That if I had more space, I'd probably bring them in too.
You okay if we go ahead and go live again?
Sure.
I figured if it was super bad,
it would have.
Yep.
Now watch me just go back and it'll come on, right?
So we got about 3 minutes before we'll go on here.
Good.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys who's always like, did I close the door strong enough? Will my kitties get out? I remember to lock everything, didn't I? I never think like someone will come in and rob me blind. I think about, will my kitties get out?
No, I'm the exact same way. I love my cats. As much as I love
you
my
2 kiddos?
I have 2 kids, yeah.
And forgive me if I realize where you're now.
No, it's
live.
fine.
But yeah,
people know about my kids. I'm always talking about my kids.
Well, I used to when they were younger, but now I have a 21-year-old.
They're getting older, and it's like
someone who will. Gosh, in December he'll be 22 and she'll be 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't think about that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is always kind of freaky.
My daughter's 11, my son's 8, so they're still young.
So we are told we have a warning for the UD campus and surrounding area So if it starts to get dark, we will shut some things down and go into an outer hallway. But we're already in the lowest part of the building.
Right.
So there isn't anything lower here, so we'll just keep an eye on that.
Right.
But like I said, it hasn't come on to warn us yet. And I do not notice the people in the office across the way taking any extraordinary action either.
So hopefully, cross fingers, hopefully it
just go around us. Go around
please.
us.
Yeah, we'd appreciate
Give us some hard
that.
rain and stuff like that. So anyone who's watching the live broadcast, if Mandy and I should seek immediate shelter, please let us know. Because I'm about to go on air and tell other people to do that. And I'll do what I always do in the summer. Grab your radio.
Grab your radio and your essentials and go.
Which, of course, for me, I don't know how I would do it, how I would get 4 cats downstairs.
There's no way it would be almost impossible.
He's running.
He's worried about it going to rain.
Yeah, I don't think that has to do with.
Oh, he's probably late for
strong
class.
winds. Yeah. looking at the time, there's a 4:16. He's dashing somewhere else.
Gross.
I don't see anyone posting anything.
No, unless either they
Oh.
they better care. They better be paying attention. Pay attention.
It is crazy to see the students just walking along.
La 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 la.
At this point, I think you should definitely be inside.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one.
That happens a lot.
It does.
You think
Well, a
she's
class
running.
just got out and they're dashing to their next one. The band is called Bonnie Doon here for your Tuesday afternoon alternative. I don't know about you guys, but that's a groove that I could probably get behind all day long. Before that, you heard Katana with Mesa, and before that, you heard Mandy Jewell with I Am the Sea. We have received notification, and just to let everybody know, we do have an indication of a tornado warning around the University of Dayton campus and surrounding area. So if you're listening to the sound of my voice, grab your radio and make your way to the safest inner portion of your home. At this point, if you have a basement, you should be heading into your basement. If you don't have a basement, you should be heading into an interior room such as a bathroom or something else. Please seek shelter at the lowest level of your building or a strong interior room, preferably with no windows at this point. We do recognize that we're going to stay on air and keep an eye on this situation to keep you informed of what's going on. So Mandy, we were talking, of course, off air about other interests in your life, such as your kiddos. How often would you say you get out to see local shows?
Wow. Well, I have my calendar on Facebook. I do this thing where where you can say that you're interested or that you want to go, and that's how I pretty much keep up with any of my favorites that are coming around in the area or playing a show, so I can kind of weigh out which ones I can go to.
Right.
I try to go to one every weekend if there's something that I want to go see. If one of my favorites is playing, I'm usually there. You can ask them. I'm usually there if I can be. So I would say probably, every weekend, unless there's something up with the kids or, something like that. But I try to go every weekend.
So what kind of bands do you go see? What is it that draws you?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I think my biggest thing, especially here in Dayton, is we have such a diverse selection of music to go see. You can pretty much pick any genre of music that you like, and there's probably a band playing that you could go see that you would really like. But I also like bands that don't really fit into those genres and just kind of let their influences just come out and just they rock. You know, I think I've talked to you about this before. I'm a huge Typical Johnson's fan.
Mm-hmm.
I like their style, their personality. Been playing a lot of shows with those guys. I really dig them a lot. Really like Rind a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those are the two people are probably like, what? They're two very different bands.
Indeed.
They're two very different bands. But I like them both for the same reasons, is that they kind of just let all their influences hang out, and they put everything they've got when they're on stage, and it's so much fun to watch those guys and all of them, both of those bands, everyone. They're all really great people too.
So you're not immediately drawn to like a style.
No, I think I grew up, I mean, listening to so much stuff. I mean, it started out with country, then I kind of listened to a little hair metal, then I kind of developed my, like, the 80s, 90s alternative thing, R.E.M., stuff like that. I think all that stuff is just still inside me, and I still really have an appreciation for what everybody's doing. It's like, you can get up on stage and write a great song and click together as a band. I think that's really something that you should be proud of, and I'm going to go see it. So, and that's why I'm there, and that's why I go support my friends, because they're really putting everything they've got when they record albums and when they play shows. So.
Well, just a quick notification. We've received a tornado warning from the National Weather Service, and they've issued a tornado warning for the University of Dayton campus and surrounding area. So while it's really cool that you're listening to us and awesome for Mandy to be here, we want to make sure that you move the radio with you into an interior room, preferably a room without windows. Seek shelter at the lowest level of your building, preferably again with an interior room with no windows. We'll continue to monitor the situation. So if I know there's that interest, you want to run to campus, you want to run to this event or that event, right now the best thing for you to do is just stay put, preferably in a strong building or in a basement or in a shelter space, and just continue to listen to this show. So just don't go outside, be safe, right? So Mandy, in addition to going out to Dayton shows, do you go further afield? Do you go to Columbus, Cincinnati, Yellow Springs?
I haven't recently. There are times where I'll go, especially if one of our local bands is playing outside of the area. I'll try to go to those. It's a little harder for me to go out of town just with the kids and things like that, but yeah, if a band that I really love is gonna be out of town, and I know I'll be there. I'll try to make it there anyway. I think it's super important that we do that. I mean, it's just, gotta support our people, you know.
Oh, absolutely. So you wouldn't be above traveling to see a Dayton band out of town?
No, absolutely not. Some of my favorites, yeah, I would love to go see out of town, because because sometimes they go and they play in Cincinnati or Columbus, and they probably don't have, they're going to make new fans that night, but maybe they need a little bit of, a little Dayton support there. So I like to be the Dayton support when I can.
Well, that's really great that you do that.
Well, a lot of times they support me. I mean, there's times I go to shows and those same people are standing in the back row cheering me on. So I feel like that if we kind of keep that camaraderie together and just keep it going.
Oh,
I mean, I still talk to, the Repeating Arms, I think, did my release show with me in 2013, and I'm still connected to those guys. Like, I still think they're great, and I still try to go see them, and then I see Harold at my shows. It's like, you just still have that, and it never really goes away. Right. I think it's just something that, I hope everyone's being safe. I'm so worried about people. It's starting to look really dark outside.
It is getting dark. It is getting dark. And one more time, we've seen a tornado warning from the National Weather Service, and this campus and surrounding area, if you're listening to the sound of my voice and you live in and around Dayton, Ohio, you should seek shelter at the lowest level of the building or an interior room with no windows immediately. Take the radio, continue to listen to our show. We're going to stay on the air until it becomes apparent that we should no longer do so. And at that point, you should be safely secured somewhere. So we're going to play a song from The Road to Tennessee, Passenger Side. Mm-hmm. What would you say about that, Mandy?
That's about, well, without getting too deep into it, it's just basically kind of an end of a relationship song. Kind of the adventures that happened before the end of the relationship is kind of just reflecting on those things that kind of were the demise of the relationship, I guess.
You're a great guest.
Thank you. It got so dark all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
You're doing very, very well.
People go inside. I'm saying, oh my God.